Okay, so this month we're going to talk about a Excel-based reporting tool that is really pretty powerful. It's called Velixo, and it connects to Acumatica through Excel. What's nice about it is as you're building the reports, it gives you live data, so it feeds right from Acumatica into your Excel. So as you're building reports, you're able to see the dollars coming in. It's easy to share reports as far as distribution. You can email reports directly from there, and it's pretty simple to do. And also it gives you a couple other options as far as GeoWriteBack, meaning you can do journal entries in the template that's provided and hit a button. It'll upload your journal entries for you. And it also works that way with your budget writeback. So you can be working on your budget inside of Excel, and as long as it's in the right format, it can write back for you. So what I'd like to do is start by showing you, I created a whole file here. I've got a number of different reports across the bottom that we're gonna go over and take a look at. Also, I'm gonna show you the GL and the budget writeback, how easy it is to email the reports out, and also real quickly how we can set up a report for you. So how this works is you first start with a connection. So all you have to do is, if I wanted to add a new connection, it's obviously it's something that you download Velixo, and it's an add-on into your Excel. Once you do the add-on and you go through this connection area, it builds generic inquiries in the background so that Excel can go in and extract the financial data for you. So you come up with a name, you put your site address in, you put in the tenant that you want. So if you have multiple tenants in your environment, you would have a connection for each tenant so that you would be able to write into or extract from that tenant. And then you put in your username and password. So I've already got one set up. I'm going to go into, I called mine 2020 R1. If you had different tenants, you would probably call it by the tenant name. And I have my address, my site address set up. So once you open up Excel, you're going to notice you have this Acumatica tab. I always start by putting in on the front sheet that you have the periods that you want to be working with, that you're going to be creating these financial reports for. And once we get into this, I'll go back and I'll show you how easy it is for everything to get updated. So the first report I want to show you is this consolidated report. You can see the numbers here, so 5.5 million, and this is running for 10 of 2019. And I've got it going back to 10 of 2018, so I'm doing a comparison. If I wanted to, we can easily come in, and I'm going to change that from 2019 to 2018. And now when I go in there, even before I get to that tab, you can see that my dollars have changed, my years have changed. So how do we work this magic? I've got a few fields up here that are hidden. So once Velixo sets up the add-in and puts the add-in into your Excel, you get a number of different formulas that you're able to use. So you always need to know what your connection is, along with what ledger you're going to be going in, if there's a specific branch. I had this information here before I decided to do the financial period on the front end. So we can kind of not worry about those. So down here, if we take a look, you can see up in our address, our formula bar, we have a formula. So this is one of the generic formulas, and it would be just as if I was over here and I clicked into the formula. If you use your drop down and you come down, you can see that you have two new sets of formulas. If you're using project, if you're using the project module, you would be able to use Velixo with it. Right now, I think most of you guys are just using the GL. So once I click on the GL, you can see that you have a number of different options to choose from. And it's pretty straightforward. So let's click in here and let's take a look at this. So this is my function or my formula. And what it asks for is, what connection do I want? So remember, my connection is what I first created. So I have up in the corner, I always have my connection name. What ledger do I want to go to? So if you had budgets, if you have an actual, if you had a statistical, you could link this to your different ledgers also. I've got it hard coded, so I can always just pick up actual. Next, it comes down and it's asking me what account number, what account am I going to be referencing? So that's nothing more than this guy right here. Oops, A16, that needs to connect up there. Let's go back there. A16. So this is the account number that I added. And I don't want any sub accounts. It's pulling out what branch do I want, and that's getting it from B3. Oops, I keep doing that. And as we continue down, I've got my to and from periods. Like I said, this is before I put the front page on, but I'm going from period 10, 2018, to period 10, 2018. And then I just go ahead and copy that. So this is a consolidated, and I'm going to show you how we're actually going to build one. But you also have the drill down capability in here. So if I wanted to come in and I actually wanted to see what my revenue sales consisted of, I can go down and I highlight the dollar amount and I can use the drill down, and it opens up what's making up that dollar amount. So you can see all of my sales accounts and the actual transactions that make that up. What's nice is, because you're linked directly into Acumatica, at this point I can go here and I can click on view transactions, and it takes me directly to that transaction. So you don't have to worry about opening and closing different programs. Let's delete that drill down. So you can, like I said, you can see here I've got something very simple. All of these formulas, again, if you look up in my formula bar, if you're good with Excel, you wouldn't have any issues with it. So simple math going across. And like I said, that one's a consolidated. I have one now just by branch. So right here, I'm doing product wholesale. So let's close this guy up. And you can see that it's just, if I drill into here, we're just getting transactions that go to the product wholesale division or branch that I have. You can also do some pretty neat things. I've got a drop-down one. So as I'm looking at this, right now, choose branch, I created a little drop-down, and I'm able to come in. I think the other place I have some transactions is Service East, and it automatically updates it. Again, all of this is based off of simple formulas that are available for you to use. So it's almost like a built-in wizard. So let's go back and let's try to create one of these, a real simple one. So I'm just going to start up a new sheet. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put in what my connection is. And remember, that's the name that you gave it. So it might be your tenant name or something. I'm going to put in my connection. I'm going to put in my ledger that I want. And now what I'd like to do is I'm going to build mine off of a couple of account classes. So I'm going to come over and take a look at my chart of accounts. And I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to look at some expenses. I got COGS, let's use expense other. So all I'm going to do in this column, in that cell, is I'm going to go, I'm going to put in my account class. And let's grab another account class. I'll do my professional services. Yeah. So from here, I've got the account classes. If you wanted to, I could put in specific account numbers. Let's see if I've got anything in 62900. So this information is just based off of your chart of accounts at this point. So now what I want to do is I'm going to move out here a little bit so I have some room in case I want to add some stuff. I'm going to come in and I want to pull in the actual name of this information, of this data. So come in, I go to my Acumatica general ledger. Now for the first two, I'm using my account class. So I'm going to grab my account class name. And what this is going to do, you can see right here, is it returns the name of an account class. And what's nice is they have built it in where if you say help on this function, let me pull up my Windows, it takes you right out to their website and it tells you exactly what you should be doing. So it's pretty simple to follow along. So I'm going to say I want to use my account class name. There's the window. So what's my connection? I'm going to give that a connection. And because I'm going to copy this down, I want it to always stay in A1. So I'm just going to make that static. And I'm going to come in and say, bring in my class. And then from there, I can copy that down to here. So now I've got my actual names of my account classes. If I wanted to bring in the name of the specific account, I would be able to come in and account name. Same thing. Let's grab that connection, reference the field that we want to go to, and it brings in my account name. So now we're starting to build some information here. So next, we can kind of grab that out. And here, let's do current month. So I'm just going to bring in current month activity. Now remember, in Acumatica, that's called your turnover. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to search for something that it might be able to use, account classes, debits, credits. Let's go over to account turnover. So it gives you the description of what you're actually pulling in. And this is a little bit more lengthy to fill out than just bringing in the name, but we've got the connection. So I'm going to bring in that. Again, I want that to be static. So I'm going to put that in there. I want my ledger. What account class do I want? I want that account class. I don't care about my sub account. It's all going to roll up because it's based off of my account class. I'm going to go all branches, but if I wanted to, I could do one specific branch. So let's do my my prod wholesale because I know I've always got information in there. Now my from to period. This is nice because I've got my little cheat sheet up here. So no matter what I do, it's always going to be, again, just make that static in case I start to copy it to different places. I want to make sure it grabs it. That's 2. Should have done the from first. And let's hit OK. Boom, I've already got a number. And then I can copy and paste that down here. Oops. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I did not do this. So that should be a $2. If I wanted to format these, we could come in. You still have use of your other tools in Excel. So you could come in and you could do that. And now, because I was using the account class there, I have to change my formula here a little bit. And I have to bring in, I've got to change that from account class to, let's just copy that. You can do it that way too. So I don't have an account class there, but I can come in here and remove my account class and I can bring in my account now. And we've got our dollars. So that's one way to do it. You can also, as I've shown over here, you have your formulas where you can bring in the prior period too. So that's not going to be based off of that financial page. Where'd we go? What we would have to do is put in another column, but I think you're getting the idea. And then we can just sum that up. So real quick, less than 5 minutes, I've got something going on, and then you can go ahead and you can use the hide features to hide the information here that you're presenting. What's nice, it's easy. You can bring in a logo here, anything like that. The next thing I'd like to show you is the GeoWriteBack function. So let's go back to our Acumatica tab, and up here you have what is called a GeoWriteBack. And if I do this, it comes up and it gives you either import the current worksheet, which we'll do in a second, or create a new journal transaction worksheet. So if I was to do that, you would see you just get the regular template. And it's very similar to the same upload idea that you do when you upload a journal entry. Just wanted to show you that. So I'm coming in, you can see where my connection's already made, what dates do I want this, so I can go in and I can enter my date. I can enter a description for the journal entry, so think of this as the header of the journal entry. What branch, so you can do intercompany branches or intercompany transactions here if you wanted to. It could reside in one branch and you could spread it out. Is it going to be my actual ledger, reversing, open after import? So I'm saying yes, I want to be able to see that. Do I automatically want it to be released? No, I want to take a look at it. So it's going to come into a balanced status. So from here, I've kind of saved a few seconds, come in, I've put in my my information already. And again, I got projects, so I have to put that in. Right now, what I want to do is come in and just say import current worksheet. There we go. This was previously created. Do you want to create a new batch? So it even recognizes that the last batch number that it brought in has already been used. It's just one way for you to be sure that you're not entering the same journal entry again. Do you want to create a new batch? I say yes. And remember we said open, so it'll open right up to the journal entry. And from here, you can just take it off a hold and you can release it. The other nice feature is your budget writeback. So if you remember what your budget window looks like, let's go into Acumatica and go down to my budget. I'm going to be working with, I think I'm going to override some of the numbers that I have here in my 2020 budget. I want to change these numbers. So you can use it to change, you can use it to upload brand new budgets, anything you need to do. So what I did is, again, it's the same idea. It creates a budget writeback sheet for you, and you can go through and you can populate the budget. Distributed amount, that comes in by itself. It's a calculation. Automatically release, no. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say import current worksheet. And it says it was successful. So let's take a look and let's refresh. So now you can see how nice and easy that was. My numbers all match to go through. But really, it's not the GL writeback or the budget writeback that's powerful here. It's actually how you can go through and you can split out the different reports and how easy it is to be able to run something like that. You can see here I've got a combination of accounts again, and I have my account classes. Just by filling in your periods up here, like we had mentioned, I've got the period coming in, I've got my prior period, and that's what generates this, because it's actually saying, if we take a look at it, instead of reading from here, it's going to be reading from the other columns or the other branch as of. You've got your options of, this is ending balance, so you've got your options of turnover, which is your monthly rate, your monthly, or you have your year-end balances. And if we take a look at some of those formulas again, You can bring in debits and credits. So if you just wanted to do a trial balance of some sort, you can bring in specific types. You can use wildcards in here too. So when you're looking at a specific, I'm not sure if I've got one set up. I should have looked at that before we started. But as you're looking at that, if you look at your sub-account, you can put in your different sub-accounts. So you could put your question marks in for a sub-account. You can also put ranges in. So even though Acumatica comes with financial reporting inside it, this is, I think, a little bit more powerful. It's a little bit more intuitive to use because we're also used to looking and working in Excel, that it kind of makes sense as we're going along. The next feature I want to show is the distribution list. So this is where you can come in and you've got different formats that you can send the report out to. Excel, you can remove the formulas, which I've got here. You can also send it right out to a PDF. You can pick the file name. So you name what you want the file name to be when you send it. And then you can pick the tab. So if I come in tab selection, you can see I've got what I've got there, but you could come in and you could name each one of the tabs that you wanted to send. Then you would come in and you would put in the email address, the subject of the email, what's in the body, so you could have a little bit of verbiage. I'm not going to send anything to Carol right now, but I'm going to highlight mine. And right now I'm sending the prod wholesale. So when I send this off, this should be the email. This should be the Excel file that I'm going to receive. Just going to go in here, and there's a distribute all. I'm just going to go ahead and say selected row. And it worksheet has been sent. And if I go into my email and open this up, you can see that I get an email, my email body, and let's just open that up all together for you. And I get the actual report. None of the formulas came over, but as far as anything that was tied back to Velixo or Acumatica, that doesn't exist. It comes in read only. Someone could save it and make some changes, but they can also see this information up here. But it's a really slick way of being able to distribute your financial statements, especially if you have a board or you have consultants that need to see information. You can get that out. Your accountants, anything like that, you can get that out pretty quick to them. Does anybody have any questions on the on Velixo? No questions?
No, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun, and they're coming out with a newer version the end of this month. So I'm going to look at the webinar and follow along and see what else we can pull in from here. Right now it's strictly financial information, just from your GL. But it's nice. It'd be nice if you could get into writing some code where you're able to maybe pull out some information on your customers or your vendors and like that. And even with for the folks that are using Nonprofit Plus, really you could get statements out using the funds too, because that's just a segment of your sub account. So you'd be able to set that up to a specific way. And like I said, everything here, the first time I did it, it took me a little bit to get used to it, but once you get going, it's easy. And like I say, if you're familiar and comfortable with Excel, you shouldn't have any problem. I've also seen, I haven't done it yet, but right from here, if you wanted to create a graph, figure you've got the information here, so you could create graphs and charts based off of this too. I guess that would be it. If no one has any questions.
Does it cost a lot of money?
You know, my favorite saying is, I presented, I'm not sure what the cost is. We could probably talk to, hey, I'm just the architecture, okay? I just build it and everything. We could definitely get some pricing for you. I don't think it's outrageously expensive. And when you think about it, depending on how your finance department is, you probably only need 1 or 2 people in it that are going to be, you know, producing reports.
Okay.
So if you want, I can see who's on. I can have Amy reach out maybe with some pricing, and I can also send you over, if you'd like, the information for the webinar that's going to be coming out with the newer version. I got a feeling, I saw on the email, he had a phone in his hand, so I'm thinking it might be getting tied into mobile devices or something. I'm not, don't hold me on that, but that might be another way it's going.
Okay.
All right, well, thanks for joining us this month. And any questions on this, either reach out to myself or Amy Rizzo, and we can get those answered for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll talk to everybody soon.